Hi. I guess we are here for another version of Linden Tree's Coffeehouse, and we are here welcoming Judd Caswell uh, down from Maine, another New England notable for our 37th season of Linden Tree. It's been an interesting year learning how to stream and have a little bit of a hybrid show. So we have a little bit of an audience. And we'll tell you more about what we're hoping to do for May. But meanwhile, we're welcoming back to the Linden Tree Judd Caswell. Um, I can't even count how many years ago that I was at a songwriting contest and I was one of the judges, and we immediately said the song that Judge did that night was our favorite. And he promised he would do that one for me later today. He's won several other songwriting contests and has some wonderful CDs that feature all his different instruments. And he actually has, I think, 3 or 4.
That gets you in there.
Are we in there? Are we done? Hi. So now I would like to welcome Judd Caswell live at the Linden Tree. Take it away.
Thank you, Liz. I think I just did the math. I think it was 18 years ago.
18 years ago. That song.
That's
A great
I
song.
kind of wish I hadn't said that. I never cared about money. I never had a lot to throw around. I never cared about the fancy cars. Just give me something that you get around town. I never thought I would amount to much. I never wanted to go too far. All I wanted was to spend my days picking songs on an old guitar. If anybody asked me what my plans were, I'd say I don't know. Some people wanna get rich quick, but I'd be happy just to get poor slow. She never cared about money much. She never had a lot growing up. She's got an eye for the Goodwill gold. She makes it look like $1,000,000. She don't need to buy caviar, don't need the pearls of the symphony. Just a cider and some takeout time. Jane Austen on the DVD. She told me when she met me there was something that I should know. She said, some people wanna get rich quick, and I'd be happy just to get poor slow. So I asked her if she'd marry me and wear that little ring. Said, you know the best things in life are free. She said the best things in life are not even things. So now we got a place to call our own. Apple tree growing in the yard. It seems there's always something else to do. It seems we never have to work too hard. Little girls out on the swings, smell the smoke coming off the grill. Maybe later we could bundle up, sit and listen for the whippoorwill. All I wanna ask her is, baby, when did you know our life was gonna get rich quick, trying just to get poor slow? Our life sure got rich quick, trying just to get poor slow. Thanks so much. Yeah, so Liz mentioned that I got a new guitar today. Being in Massachusetts, I don't get to be in Massachusetts all that often, and so there's this little shop called the Music Emporium, and so I got to spend the afternoon there, which was an awful lot of fun to get a chance to do. We're having a little bit of a technical moment here. No, that's fine. That is the next. Liz, you had what an optimistic way of describing. You're like, it's been an interesting year. It's like, yes, that is a very tough New England way of looking at what we've been going through. It's been an interesting year. Yeah, it has been. It's been an interesting, quite a number of years in a way. I want to play a song that I wrote. I wrote this song 2020, and it was a song I'd been thinking about for a long time. I think I had been building up to wanting to write this for just many, many years.
All right, Liz, we are officially on. If he would like to start over again, that would be great. I apologize for the upload issue that we had here.
Apparently we had an upload issue, and you could start over again if you would like.
Over the whole thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
From the beginning, from your beginning.
From the beginning of my first song?
Yeah.
So are we live right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. So a lot of us here have experienced some of this concert already. I understand that people out
At home.
people on the interwebs have had no concert yet. So you're just going to have to imagine that there was an amazing beginning to this. I mean, the fireworks on that first song. Am I right? That's right. Really incredible. And I just don't think we can reproduce it. But I'll play you another song. A song just like it, only a little bit. Not quite as good. It had to be here. It's a small crowd, but it's quality. This is a song about my backyard. Lately I've been chasing after little things that always slip away. Living in my calendar and living in my car, instead of living in the day. But a wind blew down from Canada this morning like a warning shot of cold across my bow. So now I'm out here in my sandals, getting bloodied by these brambles and eating all the berries I'm allowed, because it's blackberry time. Blackberry time. It's a secret of the season in its prime, when all the world is full and ripe and quickly going by. Well, then it's blackberry, 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 blackberry time. And the air is full of crickets, song and hayseed, honeybee and dragonfly. The last full day of summer, baked and cooling on the windowsill. It smells a lot like apple pie. And up beneath the popple and the birches, at the border where the grass has gone to trees, I've got those stains upon my fingers and an aftertaste that lingers. One part sweet, one part fruit, and two parts seed. Blackberry time. Blackberry time. It's a secret of a season in its prime, when all the world is full and ripe and quickly going by. Then it's blackberry, 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 blackberry time. wish I had a cup to fill, to take this harvest home and to make it stay. And I wish I had that recipe to press it into wine, seal the flavor of the day. Watching from a silver maple's branches, there is a catbird who sings a hungry kind of song. And he says, be thankful for the sweet, 'cause you know that it don't keep. You just eat what you can eat, and then you move along. When it's blackberry time, blackberry time, it's a secret of a season in its prime, when all the world is full and ripe and quickly going by. Then it's blackberry, 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 blackberry time, blackberry time. Thanks so much. Thank you. So do we have any banjo allergies in the room? Anybody allergic to banjo?
We're banjo friendly.
You're banjo friendly?
We only know some of the jokes.
You only know some. The only banjo joke you need to, well, you know what perfect pitch is, right? It's when you get the banjo into the dumpster on the first throw. That's the only banjo joke that you need to know. That's the for academic purposes. It's important if you're a student of musical bad humor, or just dad humor. That's the one you need to know. It's so funny. So I mentioned, I don't know if it got heard, but that instrument I was just playing is brand new. That's the first time I've ever played that song all the way through on it. Maybe the first time I've played any song all the way through on it. No, the second time. You guys, the first one was for just our studio audience.
Is that brand new to you, or is that
It's brand new to everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a 2022 instrument. And trust me, you're not going to be able to shut me up about that guitar tonight. You're going to be hearing a lot about it.
I'm sure they're going to bury you with it.
I bet they will. Hopefully not too soon. But I thought I'd play a banjo tune for you. And I was thinking about this when I was in the guitar shop today, that I love banjo. Banjo is it's a fun instrument, and I really enjoy having it with me. I had no interest in going to the banjo section today. There are a lot of banjos hanging on the wall in the store. It really tells you where your heart is when you're in a store and you're like, no, I am just going to keep playing these guitars. I'll go through every last version of the guitar. But I love this banjo. This banjo neck was made for me by my friend Steve Welcome. It's a one-of-a-kind neck. It's this really nice sort of figured maple. And it's a long neck banjo, so it's got these extra 3 frets, but it also has a little frailing scoop down here, which I don't think you'll find anywhere else. And I'll play you one of my tunes on it. That's the long neck, sort of a Pete Seeger style instrument. And this is one of my songs, but I sort of feel like it's kind of a Pete Seeger style song in a way. I hope it is. It's called That's the Way We Climb. Mountain and it seems too steep to climb. Looking at the mountain, it seems too steep to climb. Takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of time. Put a 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other. That's the way we climb. Looking at the sadness and it seems too deep to mend. Looking at the sadness seems too deep to mend. Look into a stranger's eyes until you find a friend. Put one hand in the other, one hand in the other, one hand in the other. That's the way we mend. differences, it seems too hard to love. Looking at our differences, it seems too hard to love. Everyone's the same about the most important stuff. Listen to each other, listen to each other, listen to each other, that's the way we love. And looking at yourself, seems there's nothing you can do. Looking at yourself, seems there's nothing you can do. But if you do the best you can, well, I will do it too. And we'll lean upon each other, lean upon each other, lean upon each other, that's what we can do. And looking at the distance, seems too far to go. Looking at the distance and it seems too far to go. The road that leads to justice may be longer than we know. But put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, that's the way we go. Well, looking at the mountain seems too steep to climb. Looking at the mountain and it seems too steep to climb. It takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of time. Put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, that's the way we climb. Put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, that's the way we climb. Thanks so much. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'll give you a respite. You've been good. If you're not good, I'll get the banjo out again. Let's see. Let's do something on. I'll give you a little bit of this other guitar. Play a little jazzy number. Or do you mind if I stare while you let down your hair? Just stand right there for a while. Where's the fire? What's the rush? Hush. It won't be now, forever. And I know that it's late, and the morning won't wait. There's so much on your plate these days, but the kids are in bed. Enough said. It won't be now, forever. And I know I don't know, and I see I can't see the forest for the trees. You might say I don't say all the things I might say, but please, won't you give me a sign? You've been reading my mind. You've been doing it fine for so long. Oh my love, oh my friends, let's pretend that we've got nothing but time. It won't be now, forever. Thanks so much. So this is I'm going to play you the song, play you the tune that I was starting to talk about there a couple of minutes ago, and it's a song that I wrote for my grandparents. And again, it's a song I'd been thinking about for a long time, and inspired, really in no small measure, by this little anecdote. The very beginning of the song is just a very small story about my grandparents, a true story, and it's one of those facts that I don't remember ever learning. You know, that one of those things that you know about your family from the time you're so young that it's just something that you always knew. And I guess lately, more and more, it's occurred to me just how remarkable this little fact was. Nana was a registered Republican, and Pappy was a Democrat for life. You never heard a word of anger pass between that husband and his wife. People kind of wondered why they bothered to even take the time to put on coats, go out to the schoolhouse on a Tuesday night to cancel out their votes. It used to be, it was a time we could agree to disagree. It was before the slide to the Great Divide. Now every word I hear about my country feels like gasoline poured on a flame. Seems like everybody's picking sides and picking fights, calling names. Everywhere I look I see the anger. Every conversation fills with trolls. Everybody knows the party lines. We wave our signs, we play our roles. But it used to be, this land of us and them was made for you and me. But I guess that died in the Great Divide. Yes, I know you didn't start this fight, and I've heard the other side is more to blame. And I know that there's a wrong and right, and we can't afford to lose this game. We're all losing just the same. 'Cause we get kinda stupid when we're angry. It's easier to hurt a herd that hates. They play us like a sucker on the line each time we rise to click the bait. Oh, but there's a simple hard solution, older than the oldest grudge you've nursed. Someone's gonna have to lay their sword down, but someone's gonna have to do it first. And it seems to me we've forgotten who's a friend or enemy. And you'll recall that a house divided surely is gonna fall. Fall for spite and fall for pride to the Great Divide. Nana was a registered Republican, Pappy was a Democrat for life. Thank you. Thanks so much. One of my favorite Irish tunes is this guy. It's called The Butterfly, and it's a slip jig. And what I love about the tune is that you can just picture a butterfly when you hear it. The sound of it it feels like to me, so it feels like the motion of a butterfly. It feels like a really lovely little. It goes like this. It goes Thank you. And it just, that sort of like, you could just sort of see that. But I was thinking about that song when I came across a poem about a butterfly. And I got thinking, well, I should write a song, a butterfly song. And I think that the Irish song, I love that the slip jig, the time signature that's in is the best sort of like little peg-legged Irish thing. It's a tough one to dance to unless you're butterfly dancing. But I thought, well, you know, the Irish don't have 5/4 time. You know, in Ireland, you think of like Dave Brubeck's Take 5, right, or Paul Desmond. And that, to me, something about that time signature feels much more like the sort of crooked flight of a butterfly. So I set my own. This one also represents all I understand about chaos theory. It's called the butterfly effect. Think about the flight of a butterfly. Take a kind of acrobat to even try to match her crooked little wings. Think she's gonna zig and instead she'll zag. She bounces like a cat in a paper bag. Can you catch her? Well, it's harder than it seems. You think you've got her, think she's in your hand, you can't connect. And that's the butterfly effect. That's the butterfly effect. You know, I know a girl like a butterfly. She couldn't fly a beeline, she wouldn't try. Says it's soothing when it's all up in the air. People say a straight line's the shortest path. She's a fan of Einstein's funny math. When you're moving, the rule book starts to tear. You think you've got her, think she's in your hand, you can't connect. That's the butterfly effect. That's the butterfly effect. People say the wing of a butterfly can change a cloudy day to a sunny sky in China, given proper time. Can't you see my girl walk into the room? Turn around a day full of doom and gloom. Make it finer, turn it on a dime. You find your answer, but make one little change, your theory's wrecked. That's the butterfly effect. That's the butterfly effect. Thank you. Thanks so much. I guess I should get another instrument out, right? We got to get through all of them.
Really
I really like, yeah.
That sounded really good.
So the reason I decided to get this guitar is I'm gonna blame my wife for this. So I turned 50 in February, and my wife asked me beforehand whether or not I wanted to do something sort of special and bigger about it, and she actually specifically asked if I wanted a guitar, and I said no. I said I didn't want to. It felt for something about it felt strange doing that, but then I started thinking about it. And I got thinking, well, if I was going to do that, what would it be? And I thought, well, I'd want something sort of classic, something like something that is just something that I always thought of as sort of like the quintessential guitar. And to me, like a Rosewood Martin Dreadnought, it's kind of the quintessential guitar. That's what people think of when they think of a guitar. And so I started looking into it, and they make a lot of different ones of these. And this is an HD 35. It's got this beautiful 3-piece back. I love these things. But asked my friend Rick Allendorf to join me today at the guitar store and play some for me and listen to some with me. And my wife was able to come stop by as well. And we picked this one out. Spent a number of hours with
How many do you think
it.
you actually played today?
How many guitars did I play today? I actually didn't play all that many. I could tell you exactly what they were, too. I put my hands on at least 5 Martins, maybe 6 Martins, a Collings. I think that's all. I think I just played maybe 6 or 7 Martins and a Collings. But this was the one, I actually called them and asked them if they had what they had in stock. I looked them up online. I saw they had this guitar because this is the one that I really wanted to hear. And I think there's a reason this is the one I really wanted to hear. But the hilarious thing was when I got here, when I got to this place tonight, and I pulled the case out of the car. I walked around in the back, and the case was in the back of the car, and I saw for the first time there was a little tag on the case that said HD35, and it said the serial number, and then there was a date on it, 2/14/22, which was my birthday. Isn't that weird? That is so strange.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Sounds like a Guy Clark song to me.
It was born on your birthday.
I think so. Yeah.
Rick Allendorf is in here chatting.
Oh, hey, Rick.
He's saying that sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Rick. It was great. It's funny. Like I've loved Rick's music for a long time. We've had sort of a mutual admiration society on Facebook through the pandemic. So, and Rick and I had never sort of been in the same place. I just had it in my mind. It's like, I need to hear somebody play these guitars. I'm gonna call Rick. And he was like, yeah, for sure. Like what guitarist does not want to go sit in a music store when somebody's actively looking for an instrument, right?
And he's not going to put the money up.
Exactly. For me, I mean, I love doing that. Just the vicarious thrill of like, somebody's dropping money on a guitar today. Exactly. You want to facilitate. Let's do this tune. Here's a song I wrote for songwriters. See if I remember it. She says sad songs make her happy, so all her songs are sad. But Ruth can break your heart and leave you feeling glad. Tom is always singing about the loving grace of God, and Abby's got a song for you about her dog. Patty's in the kitchen cooking rhymes, stirring up a song about the simple times. I just raise my voice to find a little something sweet, and hope that I can sing my soul to sleep. My friend Nat can tell the story about the hero and the fall, and bouncing back to beat the odds and tell 'em all. And Bill's an old romantic sending postcards from his life. He found the hook, he set the line and caught a wife. Mark is chasing something out of reach, about Hemingway in Cuba and a lonely beach. I just raise my voice to find a truth that I can speak, and hope that I can sing my soul to sleep. Raise your voice to praise the sun. Raise your voice to pray for rain. Raise your voice to call on things you can't explain. To raise a hope, Raise a family, raise a fist or raise a pint. Raise a little candle for the coming night. But I just raise my voice to hear it echo across the deep, and hope that I can sing my soul to sleep. I think we all just raise a voice to hear it echo across the deep, and hope that we can sing our souls to sleep. I'll do this tune. I wrote this one for a friend who's is a pandemic was hard for everybody, right? But life's hard anyway, right? So that it was bad timing for a lot of people. And I wrote this song for a friend who was doing something that I thought was really powerful and beautiful as a way to get through a really difficult situation. 40 years since that tractor started, the barn fell down and they hauled her out for parts, and I took her home to see what might be done, and if a stubborn man could make her run with a drop of diesel, a little oil, weeks of patience and days of toil. When I hear her running good as new now, something sparks inside me, thinks of you, and I go out in the woods to work on the land with my hands when I can't cross the spans of my heart. Out in the woods, trying to piece back together these days that are falling apart. Out in the woods, you can see how this looked before. All the trees the wind blew down can't even fall to the floor. They got tied in tangles halfway down, and they can't see the sky, they can't touch the ground. Lately that's a thing I understand, so I drive the tractor down and take a saw in my hands, 'cause I'm tied in tangles since you died, and I can't feel the ground, and I can't see the sky, so I go out in the woods, hauling out dead falls to make way for stone walls to mark where you lie. Out in the woods, working the land while I can, knowing someday I'll rest by your side. Out in the woods. Out in the woods, cutting a hole in the sky for the sun and the rain, and I'm out in the woods to Hallow this ground while the wind in the crowns cries the sound of your name. Out in the woods. Thank you. Boy, a guitar that makes a G chord sound like that is worth its weight in gold.
And isn't it convenient? You had just enough slots in
Just
your
enough,
stand.
just enough slots. Yeah. That would imply that these are the only instruments I have, which I just, let's just not even start down the road of that charade. That's a good question. How many guitars do I have? I have another Martin at home, and another OM, and two 12 strings, and two electrics, and a resonator guitar. They're all different.
See, I told you.
They're so. Oh no!
You're preaching to the choir.
Oh boy!
I have gas.
I think I just walked into something, didn't I? As of course I did. So do you know honestly? Do you know how many guitars? You know this. You know how many guitars a guitarist really needs?
All of them.
Just one more.
You have gas.
Yes, guitar
acquisition
syndrome. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm glad that I don't live within 2 hours of the Music Emporium.
I can't go in there. The
Yeah.
CFO won't let me.
I believe you. I believe you. So this doesn't see now the nice thing. This doesn't count as a guitar, right? So it doesn't count against your total. This is
Ukuleles?
no ukuleles aren't guitars.
Banjo.
Banjos are definitely not guitars. Yeah. So
That's been with you for a while, huh?
this has been with me for a while. Yeah, this is the one I'm going through the top of, like Willie Nelson's Trigger is what I think I'm going to end up doing. But this is a cedar top instrument. And, you know, cedar's pretty soft, and but this is it's called a bell cittern. Bell because it's like you've seen bell guitars before. Sometimes this is a shape that people use for guitars. Now it doesn't have to. The sides don't have to be bent quite so intensely. So I guess that leaves, I don't know, maybe it leaves a little more spring in the wood. It doesn't need to be steamed into shape, I guess. I am not a luthier, so I shouldn't be telling you any of this stuff. But this was built by my friend Nick Apollonio up in Rockport, Maine. And obviously this is an instrument that I've been playing a lot. And it's a 10-string, which is either 4 strings too many or 2 strings too few to make hay with as a guitarist. And when I brought it home the first time, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. Because it sort of plays like a 5-string instrument, right? Because it's double courses. Like a 12-string guitar, you play like a 6-string guitar. It's just harder and more painful. But this plays like a 5-string guitar, which there's no such thing as a 5-string guitar. And so, yeah, it's not. It's a different thing. But it turns out this song that I was working on when I brought this home is a song about the old mill river, the old working river, the Androscoggin, that runs from the New Hampshire border down to Merrymeeting Bay, which is right between right where I live. You know, Topsom, Bodenham, and Bath, the Kennebec and the Cadance River and the Androscoggin River meet in Merrymeeting Bay, and I feel like it's sort of said. The Kennebec is the one that, so after Merrymeeting Bay, the Kennebec is the one that flows out. So the other ones, Androscoggin River runs all the way down from the border of New Hampshire, from the border of Canada through New Hampshire and through all these mill towns, never even makes it to the ocean. Doesn't get the wind. But this, turns out this song needed to be played on this. It's called Watch the Fall. Androscoggin River is staggering and stumbling, tumbling down the rapids through town, mumbling and shouting out the sorrows he's been trying to drown. Ever since the ice broke, he's been out on a bender, muddier and meaner every day, tripping up the riverbanks, kicking down whatever's in his way. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, that's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. I still remember the year this old river flooded out the old abandoned mill. All the boys were drinking Narragansett and watching from the hill. As the Androscoggin River climbed that foundation, tore out every scrap they left behind. Guess he used to work there, and when they left, he didn't take it kind. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, that's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. Well, the Androscoggin River was a hell of a worker, and he carried this whole county on his back. Now he's just a drunkard singing shanties on the wrong side of the track. And the new people frown and they hold their noses, their little ones throw rocks and run away. You should have seen him the day he dragged that mill down to the bay. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, it's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, that's the name of the game in this town. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, watch the fall. Watch the fall. Watch the fall. Thank you. Thanks a bunch. So,
Sounds pretty cool.
yeah, it's such a full instrument. It's tuned in open D's and A's, all just D's and A's. So it does that chord so you can drink a pint of Guinness while you're playing is the reason for it. And I did get it for I got it for playing Irish music. I was doing a lot of Irish pub gigs and it just is such a nice instrument for stuff like that. Like here's maybe I'll do a how about Rosin the Bow. It's one that I remember from. So Nick is a friend of Gordon Bach's and built guitars with him. Actually, this was designed with Nick and Gordon. They designed this instrument together, this shape and this style. So that was the second thing I did after I set that Watch the Fall was I started trying to learn some Gordon Bach songs. I grew up listening to Gordon Bach as a little kid. That was probably the first record my sister and I destroyed by playing it over and over and over. We loved the fact that he was from Maine, and we loved his voice. So boy, we burned through that record, sadly. But it's been fun rediscovering it, and actually kind of rediscovering that's why that was probably planted the early seeds of that kind of traditional, music, that sort of maritime and Maine and Irish and Scottish and those kinds of traditions. So much of that came through on those records, and I had forgotten because I was, I don't know, 3, 4. I was really little when we were listening to that, but I think I was going to play a song for you, wasn't I? Was it? I've traveled all over this world, and now to another I go. Oh, the good quarters are waiting to welcome old Rosin the Bow. To welcome old Rosin the Bow. To welcome Rosin the Bow. Oh, the good quarters are waiting to welcome old Rosin the Bow. Laid out on the counter, a voice you will hear from below, saying send down a hogshead of whiskey to drink with old Rosin the Bow. To drink with old Rosin the Bow. To drink with old Rosin the Bow. Send down a hogshead of whiskey to drink with old Rosin the Bow. Stout fellows and stack them all up in a row. Let them drink out of half-gallon bottles to the memory of Rosin the Bow. To the memory of Rosin the Bow. The memory of Rosin the Bow. Let them drink out of half-gallon bottles to the memory of Rosin the Bow. Stout fellows and let them all stagger and go. Dig a great hole in the meadow and in it put Rosin the Bow. And in it put Rosin the Bow. In it put Rosin the Bow. Dig a great hole in the meadow and in it put Rosin the Bow. This one consolation, as out of this world I go, I know that the next generation will resemble old Rosin the Bow. Will resemble old Rosin the Bow. Resemble Rosin the Bow. I know that the next generation will resemble old Rosin the Bow. Will resemble old Rosin the Bow. Resemble Rosin the Bow. I know that the next generation will resemble old Rosin the Bow. I remember being so proud of myself and sort of shocked at my mom for playing that music for us when I realized the next generation will resemble old Rosin the Bow line meant when I was a little kid. I was like, yeah, this is a great song. This is
The Irish in the room, thank you.
yes,
Yeah.
hey.
Send down a hog set of whiskey.
Yeah, right? For kids. For kids. The the other record that the other record that we just loved. Well, Burr Lives. There was a Burr Lives for Children. So there was that. I was a big Three Dog Night fan as well. One was one of my absolute favorite songs. But probably it's the Gordon Bach and the Lenny Bruce record. The ones that we... there are some great lines in that Lenny Bruce record that probably I should not have heard when I was 4. But boy, did we just laugh and laugh and laugh when we were doing that. So, as a songwriter playing in Irish pubs, you feel it's your obligation to write your own Irish traditional song. I did that. So this is my Irish traditional song. I studied the canon, and I decided that Irish song is principally about poor decision making, often in the realm of food and drink and revolution, but food and drink. And it reminded me of this conversation I had after a gig. Went out to King Ider's pub in Damascotta with a couple of friends. We'd played the show together, and my friend Mike, when his Guinness came to the table, he sort of spun it around and sort of looked at it lovingly and said, "You know, every time I order another beer, I end up thinking, this could have been a Guinness." And I just remembered that line, just the sort of longing and tragedy implied in that line. So we turned it into this cautionary tale. Poor Mike McGuire got drier and drier as he sat and he stared at the beer in his hand. I pulled up a chair and I asked him his trouble. He said, "You never have seen such a fool of a man." Before I went to the bar with his pint glass for filling, old Patrick, he asked me, "Is it more of the same?" And it must be the devil was up on my shoulder, for I ordered this Budweiser much to my shame. Now it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. Now your Germans are proud of their precious Octobers, and the Dutch have their Heinies, and the Chinese their Ching, but it's enough to drive any good Irishman sober. This beer the Americans crowned as their king. Now it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. Now your black and tan lover, he's a man of half measure, for half of his beer is as clear as his glass. And he says it's half full, but I see it's half empty, and it just barely covers his pale English bass. And it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. For Guinness is smooth as a shopkeeper's daughter, sweeter than midnight and blacker than sin. And if I can just finish this tankard of water, I never will stray from my Guinness again. And it's pour me a Guinness, never a bitter, a brown or a red. If ever I order a pale or a porter, promise me, Patrick, you'll do as I've said and pour me a Guinness instead. One of the most successful songs I've ever written. I've gotten so many pints of Guinness for playing that song. It's like, not only is it's functional. That is a functional song. There's a certain point of the night where you can play that song and effects are achieved.
Different spirits.
Yeah. Ooh, this is going to be fun on this. Isn't it? Don't you think? It's so funny. I have this reputation. I mean, I love guitars, right? Guitars are beautiful, beautiful pieces of art, as well as, you know, tools, and you know, they have voices, they have personalities. And one thing that I have a recording studio, and I've only had a couple of people come into the studio with D35s, and you can always tell a D35 because it has this 3-piece back. And that's not what gives its sound, but it's the look that's sort of distinctive about it. And every time that I've ever heard one, I've just been like, wow, that's just a really nice instrument. There's something about the character of it that's just, don't worry, it's just a banjo. It's just a banjo.
Long neck banjo.
Yeah, right. So there's just something about them. I've always thought they sounded really, really nice. Is it going again?
Moved again, but it stopped.
It's all right.
We can put it on the ground, I suppose.
Save the banjo.
Save the banjo.
Stay.
Yeah, right.
Come on, sit.
It's gonna live.
Sit, stay. As long as it doesn't fall and hurt anybody, we're fine. But it's whenever I have a friend at the up in Brunswick he has another Martin. It's an M. I think it's an M35, but it has that sort of same 3-piece back. The thing about guitars is that like the back and side wood is often like the prettiest wood, right? So I'm always, you know, he would go up on stage. I used to host an open mic, and he'd go on stage with this guy, and I'm like, Tom, show us the back of your guitar. And he's like, that seems a little personal, but so I have a reputation of something of a, I don't know, a voyeur, I guess. But I'm just going to keep flipping this around so that you can see it, because it's just gorgeous. Isn't it just really pretty?
Just don't carve your initials back.
Oh my gosh. No, if anything I figure any mark that gets put on it, you know, in the honest pursuit of making music is just you know, that's
Character.
it's character. It's, yeah. I don't ever try to keep these things as museum pieces. I just feel like they should be played, you know? So there's no resale value of anything I own, which is why that's another good thing for the collection. I can't sell this. It's not worth anything anymore. It's all scratched up.
I'm from the school where I'd rather have one $700 guitar.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 7 $100 guitars.
I'm changing that. I'm leaving that now. I'd rather just have the one.
Just remember, we're playing one at a time.
It's true. Times a day on the main street of Brunswick, that old Universalist bell rang out the morning, the noon and the evening, and all of the town knew it well. Old Colonel Dennison sent back the first one. He said that the tone wasn't pure, and we Universalists, so few in number, gotta sing out if we want to be heard, bringing joy and peace to the world. Bring joy and peace to the world. Years later, one October evening, was lit by a terrible fire. The next Sunday morning, that bell lay in ruins, in the ashes and bones of the spire. And the years had been hard as those black walnut pews, and the church could have easily died. But they recast the bell, picked up the pieces, they rolled up their sleeves, right there on the side, wrote, bring joy and peace to the world. Change for 125 years, rang out freedom with a beautiful noise. It rang out in hope, and it rang out in sorrow, and rang till the next fire took its voice. Some folks tell you the church is so stubborn, we don't even know when we're beat. And some folks will tell you the church has got gumption, we know how to land on our feet. All that I know is the work was unfinished. We all felt the need to go on. Build a home here for bringing that bell back to ringing. Our voices still singing out loud with the song, bringing joy and peace to the world. Bring joy and peace to the world. Bring joy and peace to the world. So that was a true story. I wrote that song for the dedication of the new Unitarian Universalist Church in Brunswick. The church burned in 2011, and when the bell was pulled from the tower, church discovered that there was an inscription on it that nobody had ever seen before: "Ring joy and peace to the world." And that's a song that I would just. It's very cathartic to just sing that chorus. Really is a fun one to sing. So most of my songs are about my backyard, so I'll sing you another one of those. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away, slide away. Green snake in the sweet grass, slide away home. 'Cause the sunset through the birches paints a picture on the wall. The dandelions are closing and the hermit thrush calls. So Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Baby in the bathtub, splash away, splash away. Baby in the bathtub, splash the whole floor. Mama in the kitchen, sing away, sing away. Mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? 'Cause there's moonlight on the window and the chicken's home to roost. Well, this train is bound for bedtime, so shake that red caboose. Baby in the bathtub, splash away, and Mama in the kitchen, won't you sing a little more? Brown bat in the starlight, sweep away, swoop away. Brown bat in the starlight, dancing on a breeze. And there's peepers in the frog pond, and they peep away, squeak away. Peepers in the frog pond, singing through the trees. And there's a barred owl in an oak tree, like the ghost of Robert Frost. He's asking about the yellow wood, the two roads, and the cost. While the peepers in the frog pond peep away, squeak away, and a brown bat in the starlight is dancing on a breeze. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away, fly away. Phoebe on a fence post, fly away home. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Let's see how this responds to being tuned all over the place. It's a song I wrote in the summer of 2020. I was reading a book by Anne Lamott. And Anne Lamott is just sort of the funniest. She's the funniest, most serious, least serious. She's brilliant. But she chose to start a chapter of her book with a poem by Rumi, the 12th century Persian Sufi master and poet. And the poem just jumped off the page at me. My jaw just sort of hit the floor when I read it. And I just read it and I read it. And it just felt like it was written for that moment. Felt like it was written just for the times that we were in. And so, with apologies to Rumi for making it rhyme and changing the words a little bit, I decided to set it to music, and it's called Keep Walking. Keep walking, on you go, though the final destination is never ours to know. Seeing through the distance, that's not for you or me. It's not a place to get to, it's a place to be. Move within, not in fear. Don't you listen to those voices whisper in your ear. Today we wake alone, just like every other day, empty and frightened, with a choice to make, to keep walking. May the beauty we love be what we do. May the love that we find see us through, till the beauty we love proves this thing we've found. There's at least 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Raise your voice, find your song. Let your heart beat soft and gentle, or loud and strong. 'Cause studying the world, that can only go so far. Sometimes you gotta reach up and take down your guitar to keep walking. May the beauty we love be what we do. May the love that we find see us through, till the beauty we love proves this thing we've found. There's at least 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. So keep walking. Thank you so much. So I guess I got about time for one more song, and I just want to thank you for joining me here today. And be in this awesome studio audience. And thank you at home for listening in, and the Linden Tree and all the volunteers for making this possible, keeping this going, keeping music happening through this interesting time. Here's hoping for less interesting times that are just boringly fruitful, full of love. This is a song. Kind of wrote this song for my dad after the last sort of bad economic downturn. During that 2008, my dad had his own business, worked for himself, and had some employees, a small business, and when the economy went south in 2008, he had to decide whether that meant that he was going to shutter his business and just retire, or if he was going to try to just downsize and kind of make it through. And he ran the numbers, and he ran the numbers, and he ran the numbers, and he couldn't figure it out. He couldn't figure out what the best thing to do was, and it was really hard for him because making the numbers work out was sort of his life. He's a structural engineer. And so I think it was particularly hard, that uncertainty. And I got thinking, like, here I am, a folk musician. I have this wealth of experience of the numbers just not working out. And and I also got to work with my dad for a few years. I worked in the office with him, and I did some CAD computer work and stuff. And I got to be a fly on the wall for a lot of conversations. And it reminded me, the idea of the numbers not working, it's not true in engineering that the numbers are... there are these borderline cases where even the structural engineer recognizes that maybe you just ignore the numbers and keep going. And this song's about that. Thanks again. Cedar of the shingles going silver in the long summer twilight on my grandfather's barn. The ridgepole walks a crooked line, swaying deeper with the time. And the nightshade and the ivy grow together by the field stone foundation as it shoulders the load. May not hold another year. That's why we've called the engineer. And he grips his clipboard, chews his pen. He squints up through the rafters and says, I will tell you, friend, don't ask. You don't want to know. The numbers think this should have failed you long ago. There's something holding it together. The math will never show. So say a little prayer and on you go. She's gotten baby blue and powder pink speckles on the well-worn t-shirt from my favorite band. There's stacks of books on every floor. There's masking tape around the door. So I brush aside the drop cloth from the keyboard of the old piano so I can wander for a while. Don't hear her coming up behind until she puts her hand in mine. She says she's worried, she can't see clear. Do I think there will be room enough for 3 this year? Don't ask. You don't want to know. The numbers think this should have failed us long ago. There's something holding it together. The math will never show. So say a little prayer and and on we go. It seems to me that life is lifeless if you're just waiting on some guarantee. You may prove that hope is hopeless. All I ask is don't tell me. 'Cause I don't wanna know if the numbers think this should have failed me long ago. There's something holding it together the math will never show. So say a little prayer and on we go. I'll just say a little prayer and on I go. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Judd. Thank you to, I need to have a few more thank yous. I need to thank Brian Dozer and Eddie D for making the streaming happen. I am not a sound person and I freak out when I have to get online like this. So I appreciate your patience. And I have to thank the Ivy Court Coffeehouse, who has sort of partnered with helping us with advertising shows all season, and the Mass Cultural Council for their support in part, especially through the Wakefield chapter. And I'd like to remind you that all the shows are archived. So if you want to watch them again, or some you missed, you can go onto YouTube and find them. We really appreciate that way. And we appreciate the PayPal and checks that will come in to help us support our performers. Although he is enjoying liking to play his new guitar, I think he would also like a few checks in the mail as well. And next month, we are hoping to have a live show. We're still debating on the location, but it is going to be a special show with Sloan Wainwright and Cozy Sheridan. They have a music program for women. I think men are allowed in because I think their partners are also playing along with them. It will be a special show on Saturday, May 7th. And if you're on our Linden Tree MailChimp, you'll get more information as well as some of our other places that we advertise, like the Boston Area Coffeehouse Association website. So thank you all for being with us. And Judd, can we have you do one more song before we say goodnight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to. I was trying to decide what to do. I feel like we should play another song on this, don't you think? Like, how can we not? And I don't know what that would be. Maybe I'll play. Oh, I can play Marade on this. I bet I can. This is an old song. This is a song called Meeting Marade. Marade is the Gaelic version of the name Margaret. And it's spelled just like it sounds. It's M-A-I-R-G-H-R-E-A-D. I think that's the Irish, like, fighting. It's an act of resistance. It's like, all right, we'll speak English, but we're going to spell it our own way. And thanks again. It was coming up on 2:15 on a night as black as stout. Walking down the Connemara Road, a drop of whiskey on my lips to keep the cold out. When high on the hillside, a flickering light led me off the highway and into the night. It was coming up on 2:15. My head was thick with stout. Then as quick as you can whistle a tune, I had my feet atop that hill. There I found her in a circle of stone, a fire burning off the cool September chill. She was dressed all in garments of shimmering sheer, which much to my wondering eyes disappeared. Then as quick as you can whistle a tune, I had my feet in deeper still. Oh, I'm probably going to regret meeting my rate. Then as sure as I am standing before you, she burst into song. And she danced about and tempted me sorely. Still I resisted, God-fearing and strong, until she settled herself there astride of my knee and proceeded to rum-tiddle-dum, tiddle-dee. Then as sure as I am standing before you, I did sing along. I'm probably going to regret beating my rate, beating my rate, beating my rate. Well, a sorrier gentleman waking you never did see, with a headache and half a mile home, stretching out like a gauntlet before me. Well, I guess you could say that the bloom's off the rose when your lady has left you and taken your clothes, with a half a mile of churchgoers waiting between home and me. I'm probably going to regret meeting my rate, meeting my rate, meeting my rate. Thanks so much. Thanks again. Thank you.